Hello world, hello Australia, Jamie here, the Crypto Koala. Now today guys, I'm talking to Tony Hasek. He is a co-founder of a new upcoming company on the Neo blockchain, guys. Now the project is called Goldilock, and I'm really happy to have Tony here today. He's scoped in from Czech Republic, so the time zone's a little bit different. But Tony, it's good to talk to you, mate. So, mate, tell us about yourself.
Hi, Jamie. Nice to speak to you, and thanks for thinking about Goldilock and getting us on your program. So I am a Canadian/Czech technology entrepreneur. I was born and raised in Canada, but I've lived in the Czech Republic for about 27 years. And in that time, I've founded various IT ventures from system integration companies to e-services companies. And I've also worked in, oddly enough, in the precious metals industry. The last place that I was working before I did this was a company called Gold Money. They're a Canadian publicly traded precious metals custodial company. And that's really where I started to become interested in alternative stores of value and non-bank payment systems. So that's where I started at that point learning about crypto and becoming interested in it.
Oh, brilliant. So that's about yourself. So tell us how you met your fellow team or your fellow co-founder. Is it Jerrod, I believe? Jerrod. And I understand that he went to Czech Republic for a period of time. Is that how you met each other, or?
Absolutely, yeah. We were both in our youth. He's a little younger than I am, so he's still a little more athletic than I am, but basketball players. And we met at a pickup basketball game. Well, that would be a good, probably 17, 18 years ago. And Jerrod is also a kind of a born entrepreneur, and he founded several ventures here, including a corporate events company, and then he moved into software development. He built and sold a company to DHL, and then he was working in the betting and gambling space for in-app and in-game wagering. And the company that he had last was the first company that was authorized by Apple to allow wagering within games. So he's quite an accomplished entrepreneur.
Oh, brilliant! So I understand that he's based in North America. He's based in the US, and you're based in Europe. So geographically, that should help you in the future with your influence geographically. Do you reckon?
Well, it's interesting. You know, we're talking about a decentralized technology. We're talking about a decentralized economy, and we are truly a decentralized company. We have I hesitate to say offices, because we're also a pretty free radical bunch of people. We have people in San Francisco, in Houston, in Boston, in Prague in the Czech Republic, in Greece, and now we're gaining co-workers and employees in Asia. So we're able to not only work 24 hours a day, which is how we've managed to do this so quickly. We've gone from conceptualization and patent filing to an MVP in 9 months, I think. So yeah, it's a great boon to the endeavor.
Oh, brilliant stuff. So it sounds like you've got an interesting project that you guys have been working on for a little while, and the actual project itself. So what inspired you with Goldilock? What inspired you and your fellow team members to create this project?
So all of us have in some way, shape, or form been interested in the crypto space. Not always enthusiastically, I must admit. When I was working in the precious metals sector with gold especially, I was a little bit skeptical about cryptocurrencies and distributed ledger technologies. But as I learned more about it, and I learned the applications of it, and I learned what the true utility of it is, I started to think about where the issues lay within the adoption of it. You know, you have a self-realization sometimes, and you understand that you're not right about something. And I noticed that the people who are in precious metals, or who are commonly termed like gold bugs, people who are fascinated with gold as an alternative currency or a store of value, and people in crypto, they didn't like each other, but they had more in common than I think that they were willing to admit to each other, and that fascinated me. And so I was looking at the issues of how I was working in gold, and people wanting to own gold, but people not being able to keep gold in their houses or wherever they were, because it's not good to have it with you. And gold money had kind of figured out a way to do this. And I thought about if it's possible to apply this to cryptocurrencies. So we were all coming to the conclusion that the biggest barrier, one of the biggest barriers to adoption of cryptocurrencies is security. As long as people are worried about losing that value, they're not going to want to have it. Now, it's not physical, so it's difficult to secure. How do you do this? And we looked at the two leading options, the only two options: cold storage, which we're all familiar with, offline, cumbersome. It has some inherent risk as well. You can lose your device, you can have it stolen, you can have it seized. All of those things that we know. Anybody who's carried a cold storage device is aware of this, and we read about it. People searching through garbage dumps for it, and it's ridiculous, right? And then hot storage, where the issue is that it is available all the time, and anything that's available all the time is hackable all the time. So I wanted to figure out how I could have, if you're familiar with Schrodinger's cat, the theory about the cat
in the box.
So I wanted a storage capability that was like that. It was both hot and cold at the same time. How could this be accomplished? So, in some ways, the doing it is not that difficult, but doing it in a manner that the connection of a cold storage device is not performed through an internet protocol command. That was the key to making it secure, because it might as well be hot storage if you can connect it like that over the internet. Yeah. And then as America's illustrious President Donald Trump said, any 400-pound guy in his basement with a computer can, he was referring to hacking, I think, at that time, and all these things could initiate this. So we basically figured out a way to do it using analog technologies and non-IP commands, and using something that's very ubiquitous, which is essentially a phone call. And it's simple in some ways, but and sometimes there's beauty in simplicity.
Oh, for sure. And I can understand what you mean with, now when I think of the most secure form of storage I know of is a ledger, cold storage wise. So actually putting my cryptos on a ledger and then taking that ledger off. So what happens when I lose that ledger, or I forget my passwords to that ledger? Of course, it's very good, and fundamentally, it's very important, and it goes through nearly everyone's mind, is security. Is my funds secure? Are my funds safe? And as we know, with
if I can interrupt, so imagine that you, as an Australian living next to that beautiful ocean, you're out on a boat, and the market starts to melt down, and you have the ledger locked in your glove compartment in your car, or it's at home, because you're not going to take that on a boat, because if it goes under, it's destroyed, right? So how do you go out on that boat and have a feeling that all your keys are secure, and at the same time be able to access them very quickly and get them online to be able to make trades, get in and out of positions, or something like that. So this was another thing. And we were dealing with and speaking to people who have major positions in crypto, and this leads us into the other question of institutional adoption. So we all read about custody now as a once the institutions get involved, then adoption of crypto will be even bigger. But they can't do that until they have a really secure, really flexible, and really user-controlled custodial solution. So that was another impetus for us to move forward with this.
So you've identified in the market something that's fundamentally very important to institutional investors and corporations. They need that security, they need that aspect. Now, I'm just going back to, I'll talk about the cold storage, but the warm storage side of things. Now, I keep a small amount of my cryptos on an exchange.
Right.
I do that because it's convenient. I do it because I can quickly get on there, I can quickly sell it, versus my ledger. Now, if I had the best of both worlds, where I can quickly gain access to my cryptos, and they're super secure, you know, it's going to be worth me looking into that. And I'm sure other corporations or projects would be interested in that rapid access of security to their assets.
Yeah. So another aspect to the business model that we have is that while crypto seems to be the kind of path of least resistance and the vertical that is crying out for this solution, there are a lot of other industries that we feel, and not only feel, but we have very credible feedback to the extent of people actually knocking on our door saying, hey, can we start working as an implementation partner for this, can benefit from this kind of extremely secure, rapidly accessed, segregated, and non-IP activated storage. So we can look to digital rights management and media delivery. We can look to the healthcare industry. So this is, if you fantasize a little bit and you think there was you're a Brit or an ex-Brit, you're still a Brit. The University of Essex, I think it is, came out with a study that said if you if you have one doctor your whole life, then you will live longer. That having a doctor your whole life leads to greater life expectancy. So that's not really a practicality in this day and age. You yourself have moved to Australia. You grew up in the UK. I grew up in Canada, moved here. I've had doctors all over the place. So my health records are shattered and broken, and they're all over the place. So there could be something going on inside me that I don't know. Well, why do these institutions control my health records? Why don't I control those health records and then give conditional access to people? So a Goldilock system can allow that so that I can access those records from anywhere in the world, and it's simply it's up to me. And when we go back to decentralization, one of the things that we see within the blockchain phenomenon is that there is a centralization and decentralization, because we still have entities controlling blockchains, we still have entities controlling business models, and that's understandable. This thing is still in its infancy and it's still growing. But I think cogent, or part of this, is that we end up controlling our own digital identity eventually. So I have a vision, and maybe it's a crazy vision, of people being able to basically come on and offline whenever they want. When a publication, an internet publication, wants to count my eyeballs, I want to give them permission. I want to be able to do that in a very secure way. I want to be able to withdraw myself. So we have a tail wagging dog situation in the world right now, where really our digital identities are becoming the things that we have to respond to, as opposed to the other way around. So I think key to that is the way that this information is stored, the way that it's accessed, and who controls and owns it. And I hope that our technology can provide a method to bring greater control to the individual of all of this kind of data. I've digressed there a little bit from your original question, but then there's banking, there is credit ratings, there anything that you as a user, as an owner, would like to be able to deny access to is applicable. I had a gentleman who I play golf with the other day saying, "This is exactly the thing I need for photos." And it surprised me, and I said, "Well, you know, why?" And he said, "Look, I have a lot of photos that are very valuable to me, and I don't want them online all the time. You know, I don't know who's going to take them and do what with them, and so, but I do want to access them, but I don't want them at home." And you know, the list keeps growing of things that we can apply.
The possibilities, it sounds like there's a lot of possibilities there, and it could be, and it's really good that there is that, it's open, it is open to multiple different uses, which is really good.
Right. Yeah. We're not just a crypto company, really.
Yeah.
We're more a security and a storage company. Yeah. But I think the application of crypto is particularly relevant, and I think that it can really help the community in a larger way.
So talking of the community in a larger way, so how come you chose Neo? How come you chose the Neo ecosystem for having your project on the Neo ecosystem?
So there are technological reasons for choosing Neo that I don't think I'll go into at length with the Net5 token and their transactional speeds but we have also kind of a philosophical alignment with them, and we think that that it's right now it's the most robust blockchain that we could be working with. We've had great interaction with them. They've been very supportive to us. The City of Zion community has been very helpful. We have one of the founders of City of Zion on, Tyler Adams, as our.
I've noticed that, yeah.
As one of our advisors. Excellent young, brilliant guy. And we also understand that we're as you stated in the beginning of this program, we're a very decentralized and very international group. So if you look at our web pages, we have our white paper already, I think, in 11 languages. We are not just Americo-centric, so we're looking to Asia as a large adoption pool for crypto. We understand that they're the most growing populations in the world, and Neo is a very basic choice for that part of the world as well. So there are many reasons that we chose Neo. So I think that if we want to delve into the technological reasons, then we can do that offline. Maybe if people want to join our Telegram group, that would be fantastic.
Sure, brilliant stuff. I know the Neo ecosystem, like talking to other projects, you are part of something bigger, just that ability to work with other projects and the support you get from Neo as well. I get that, you know, align the values, that all technical things aside, it just seems like a very supportive platform to work with, a really good supportive team there. So going on to the actual token itself. So the actual lock token, so how is it used? Is it a utility token or a security token?
It is, because so while we have this access device or access protocol, let's call it, you must own a token to be able to participate in the system. The token is your identifier, and within the system that we have our own blockchain that tracks every transaction as well. So there are tokens used within it. So there's a true utility to it. It's not just something that we threw in. We believe that it's essential and integral to the security of the system to be able to have a level of management and accountability. So that speaks to the utility of it.
Okay, so say for instance, I want to get my hands on some of these tokens. I wanted to invest and be a part of your project. Do you have any time frames at all when your ICO is, or any sort of Q3, Q4, early next year, or?
Yeah. So you know, all time frames are estimates because you run across the oddest things. We were probably already supposed to be involved in a launch of the ICO right now, but we got hung up with a banal issue in one of the jurisdictions where we are operating. So we're incorporated in Malta. We've chosen that jurisdiction because it seems to us and to our legal advice that it's the most advanced in terms of crypto legislation. We're a very legitimate bunch of people. You can see that I'm not young anymore, unfortunately, and I'm not. We're very, very concerned about making sure that our company is perceived in the right light and is doing everything correctly and above board. So, when I say we are going to launch the ICO within the next 30 to 60 days, that's our goal. That's our timeline. We already have a program running on WeStart.co right now for people who would like to get involved in a referral program, and the ICO should be within the next 30. Well, I'll say 40 days. Let's say just to give a ballpark, but all estimates are just that.
Sure, good to hear. So it's interesting you say with Malta. I recently spoke to another project recently that went over to Malta, was looking at going over to Malta because the government is very supportive over there. It seems like a good platform to have an office or to have a base. So it's interesting. I just where you said that. So the actual ICO, is it a KYC process?
Absolutely KYC compliant. So one of the reasons that we chose Malta as well is that Malta is within the European Union. Malta is a European country. It has mature legislation. It has a functioning court system. It adheres to all European Union laws. So as I said, I'm a Canadian citizen and I'm a Czech citizen. I have dual citizenship. My partner Jerrod is American, and we are very adamant about this being a transparent and healthy endeavor for everybody involved. We build real businesses, and so that's why we've chosen Malta. We think that it's a very secure and very above board destination to be a place to be residing. So I just wanted to elaborate on that a little more.
Yeah, brilliant, good stuff, Tony. So what you're looking at doing in the future? Where's the roadmap, or what are you looking at doing with the project far into the future?
So being an entrepreneur, as is Jerrod, we're salesmen, and we know that this is a product that has already pent up demand. So we will follow the roadmap that your viewers can find on our webpage. Beyond that roadmap, we are building this business through our own business to consumer model, and business to business model, where we will be licensing it to other operators of secure storage, mass storage, cloud storage, custodial services, really anybody who thinks that they can leverage this. And the goal is to make this really a ubiquitous security solution for data.
Oh, brilliant. So I understand that tomorrow you're heading off to London. You're heading off to the UK. So after that, in the next couple of weeks, you're heading over to any other conferences at all, Tony?
Right. I'll be in Malta tomorrow. Tuesday, I'm speaking at the European Investment Conference, and then the 1st and 2nd of November, I'll be in Malta for the Malta blockchain.
Oh, okay, Malta, yep.
With John McAfee as one of the speakers. And
really?
A bunch of others, yeah. A bunch of others. I think the Prime Minister of Malta will be speaking at that as well. And then my partner Jerrod in the United States is also quite a known face at the conferences that were there. We were Consensus earlier in the year in New York, so we're really running around introducing Goldilock to people. And do you know why we call it Goldilock? Are you interested in that? Do you know what what the reference is to?
Yeah, I have researched the project, and if I got this right, so you got the cold storage and the warmer storage. Goldilock is just right. Just like the porridge.
That's right. It's the porridge. That's it. Yeah. We thought it. Well, it's my partner. My partner thought it up. I thought it was quite clever. Yeah. It's from the children's story Goldilocks. So if any of your viewers aren't familiar with it, because it is a very sort of Anglo-centric story, if they'd like to see how it came about, they can read that to their kids.
Yeah, definitely. If you're looking at getting involved with the project, of course, do your own research. Look at my disclaimer. And yeah, if you want to find out more about Goldilock's project, be sure to join their Telegram group. Be sure to check out their website. I'll put the links down below, guys, in the description. So, Tony, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I wish you all the best of your project.
Likewise. Thank you very much, Jamie.
Thank you, Tony. Bye, mate.